all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. We are the best on the field. And we in the field like, all day like, all night like, on the blue light, offense like, defense like, this squad like, house call like, and it sound like, and it sound like, and it sound like.
Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Friday, March 3rd, 2017. Woo! We got another show for you guys, and you'll have to excuse me. Hopefully you guys don't hear a difference. Allergies decided to say, you know what? You got your show, Friday morning. Hey, guess what? Thursday night, we're going to just come and attack you, and bam. So allergies have been all messing me up this morning. But we're going to get through the show. I got it something solid. Try to add a couple more pieces to it because I didn't want it too quick, but overall solid show this week. I have to postpone the whole video thing. I mean, I still look good. I just don't look a full show ready. I just want to get a couple segments up there for YouTube. So won't have the full show on YouTube, but next week we will. So I have to apologize for that. But again, we have a good show for you guys. We're going to talk about Clemson's quarterback, their spring job, NFL free agency. Of course, today, Friday, depending on when you're listening to this, Friday is NFL Combine. The NFL Scouting Combine starts this morning. It's actually starting just right now. So it's going to be exciting to see that. To running backs today. Running backs and O-line, I believe. So pretty excited. I'm really excited for several players. Of course, Christian McCaffrey being one of those players. How he performs throughout the drills. Having that controversial skipping his bowl game. Now he's here for his NFL Combine. There's a lot. So I'm excited about that. College football news, of course. And again, we just said the NFL free agency. First, as always, we'll start with some college football news first. And what is going on in the state of Texas? We got two stories here. Texas football signee, a recruit for next year's class in 2018, was arrested Tuesday on drug charges at his high school. He was going to sell 20 pills of the anti-anxiety drug Xanax, and more than $1,300 was in his possession. He admitted to a school's administrator that he was going to sell the Xanax. And it's just ridiculous. You have a scholarship, a full ride scholarship to the University of Texas, and you're willing to risk all of it for selling drugs. I mean, you've got it made for you right now. You just got to continue to work hard through school, continue to work out, continue to do what you got to do, and you've got a path to get not only a free education, to get a degree from a great university, to go play for a potential great university, and maybe make it to the league, and you're going to risk all this because you want to sell some drugs. I mean, it's just not worth it. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what Tom Herman does. This is really one of his biggest issues that he's run into as a head coach at the University of Texas. What is he going to do? Is he going to set an example for future recruits saying, you do this type of mess, that's it, zero tolerance, we're not going to mess with it? Or is he going to let it off the hook and keep that scholarship with him? I'm not saying you pull the scholarship on this kid, but there has to be a further punishment other than him getting suspended from school. And, of course, he was booked into jail on a charge of possession and delivery of a controlled dangerous substance with the intent to sell within 1,000 feet of a school. Obviously, he's going to have to go through the legal system. Tom Herman said in a statement that he's going to wait to see what the legal system does and go through its course, and then he'll make a decision. But you've got to make some type of example here and say, look, we're starting over new here. I mean, of course, Charlie Strong did a great job in keeping that program clean. Tom Herman's got to follow that, because what does this say if you're going to let one of these players in? So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But on the other side of the country, we have the national champion head coach Dabo Swinney getting ready for spring practice with the Clemson Tigers. And he said junior Kelly Bryant is, quote, definitely the starter going into the spring, which is pretty interesting knowing that they have the number one quarterback in the class of 2017, early enrollee Hunter Johnson. He's in there, and right now it's all Bryant's job. Say, quote, Kelly's clearly the number one. There's no doubt about that. He'd go play for us today, and I'm excited to see him. But how is he going to take that role and respond to it, end quote. That's what Dabo Swinney had to say. Now, pretty interesting story, and it's kind of like one of those dream books, if you want to call it that. Clemson offensive coordinator Jeff Scott arrived at Clemson's facility before 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning, the first day of Tiger spring practice, and there at the table at the cafeteria sitting with the offensive lineman was Hunter Johnson. And he asked if he was ready, and he said, "Coach, I am." So it's going to be interesting. Now, as for Kelly Bryant, now labeled as clearly the number one starter at this point, again, spring practice just started. But how will it be filling the shoes of Deshaun Watson, who was arguably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play for Clemson in their history? He said, quote, "I'm just trying to be myself. Deshaun was his own person. I want to be simple. Go about the things the way I look at them. I took a lot from Deshaun, and I tried to incorporate it, but I'm not trying to be Deshaun." So interesting how that follows through with the quarterback competition. I really thought Hunter Johnson, again, it's just the first week. And it's slow when we're having to talk about the first week of spring practice and already talking about who's going to be the quarterback for fall. But I wouldn't be shocked if Hunter Johnson steals the job as a freshman. Highly touted, of course, the number one overall quarterback recruit in the country. I liked his film. I liked what I saw from him. Kelly Bryant already knows the system. He's a junior, upperclassman. He knows it down. He's got it down. So it's going to be interesting competition for the national champions. Of course, we've been talking about Baylor, and it's because each week something is happening. Now, of course, Baylor, they had a football player had to be kicked out of the program, suspended from the program after abuse allegation. He's now out. Now, I don't know if it was a sexual abuse, but either way, it's still bad. And now the Texas Rangers, not the baseball club, but the Texas Rangers, the state's top criminal investigation agency, have opened preliminary investigation of Baylor University handling of allegations of sexual assault by students. The Texas Rangers opened their inquiry 2 days after a group of legislators asked the agency to examine how Baylor officials and the university's police department responded to allegations of sexual assault. Now, the NCAA enforcement staff has interviewed former Baylor administrators, Title IX investigators, and some of the women who alleged football players sexually assaulted them, as it continues to investigate whether the rules were violated during the school's sexual assault scandal. Of course, the NCAA, they move very slow. Very, very slow on just about everything. And so what we find from the NCAA, hopefully with the Texas Rangers, actually what we find from them will be a little bit faster, and maybe that pushes the NCAA to see other things and make them have a faster decision on some potential sanctions on Baylor University. Now, they've already gone through their own type of things. It's shocking that they haven't had a postseason ban. We saw with another school a couple weeks ago, they put a postseason ban on themselves, and I can't remember the school now. But why not have – it was Ole Miss. Ole Miss last week had put a postseason ban, a one-year postseason ban on them for paying student athletes, right? Which, I'm in favor of student athletes getting paid. Not under the table, but they need to get paid by the NCAA. There needs to be something happening there. But they put a postseason ban for that, while Baylor had a culture of student athletes sexually abusing females at that university, and really nothing's happening. So we'll have to see about that. The U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights is also investigating Baylor, and representatives of that office were scheduled to be in Waco, Texas this week to meet with students and faculty members. Now, State Representative Rolando Gutierrez, a Democrat from San Antonio represent, who introduced Texas House Resolution 664, calling for a criminal investigation last week. It expressed satisfaction on Wednesday that the Rangers have opened a preliminary investigation. Now, he also called for a sizable reduction in allocation of tuition grants that the state provides to Baylor University until full accountability is realized and concrete measures are in place to make certain that nothing like this ever happens again at Baylor or any university in Texas, end quote. Now, Baylor private school was allocated more than $10.4 million in TEGs, which are the Texas Equalization Grants, in the 2016 fiscal year. The problem I have with this is that while it's great we're trying to find a way to punish Baylor, some of these grants, while yes, they do go towards scholarships for athletes, they also help out your average student. And while, hey, I don't want to go to Baylor, the people that do want to go to Baylor still, this hurts them. And this hurts them getting money. And I know as I was trying to get into TCU, I'll be honest with you guys, I received a $30,000 scholarship, right? In most universities, woo, that's half a ride, right? You're feeling good about it. At a private school, especially in the state of Texas, instead of lowering tuitions for us people who have dreams of making something, they raise them. And private schools, they can raise them however they want. Private schools are usually more expensive anyways. I was still unable to go. I didn't have enough money. So Baylor, they're roughly around the same price as TCU. So this can also hurt your other students that want to go to the university. So this one, I don't really like that one too much. But Gutierrez also asked Texas Governor Greg Abbott that at least $5 million be allocated from the Department of Public Safety in order to carry out a comprehensive Texas Rangers investigation. So that's okay. That's cool. The sizable reduction, we'll see if that actually goes through. But again, let's look at focusing on the athletic department themselves. And also, hopefully, I feel like I'm the only one. I feel like I'm talking to a wall here when it comes to former Baylor athletic director Ian McCall. The fact that he is still an athletic director at another university is sickening. It's terrible. And I've already gone on a rant about it, so I won't go on another one. But it's just bad that that's what's still happening. We're not talking about him. It's like he's the scapegoat. He got away with it. Of course, Art Browse recently he came out and said that he didn't cover anything up at Baylor. I feel like we already have the text messages. I don't know what Browse is doing. He just needs to shut up and just whatever happens to him, because it's not looking good right now. Now, a lot of people did like last week's segment of what time it is. That's what time it is. But I decided, let's make a little bit of change on it. Let's go ahead and put it where we just do a specific story, right? And we just go on about that story, and that'd be it. Instead of doing multiple stories, it took a little while. So for this week's segment, we'll talk about Joe Mixon, but not because of what happened, but him being an NFL Combine snub. Now, Detroit Lions general manager Bob Quinn said he was disappointed when he found out Oklahoma running back Joe Mixon would not be invited to the NFL Scouting Combine, which starts on Friday today, because it would have linked for all the teams to be able to communicate to him, to talk to him, to interview him, to also obviously evaluate him throughout the drills. Now, Quinn also told reporters Wednesday that the Lions haven't taken Mixon off their draft board, but admitted it would be a long conversation before they would draft him. Now, Mixon, of course, was one of the handful of players that was not invited to the NFL Scouting Combine because of off-the-field issues with this new rule. Him, Chad Kelly were really the two big names that weren't allowed to go. Now, of course, Mixon apologized again last month after the video was released of him punching the female Oklahoma student in the face in 2014. He was then suspended in 2014 that season. He was able to redshirt it. But, of course, when they released the video, it kind of just made things a little bit worse. It brought everything to light, I guess you could say. Now, here's the thing. Now, Ford was given the Zero Tolerance Award in June of 2016 by the women in the blue of the Detroit Public Safety Foundation for her team's stance towards domestic violence. And at his first news conference as a team's general manager, Quinn said he had zero tolerance for domestic violence and gun issues. He then later signed 2 players who I don't think really contributed to the team anyways, but who had gun issue problems. And now Joe Mixon, now they haven't, of course, drafted him. They haven't talked to him. See, here's my thing. I think this rule is a smart rule. And here's a little quirk to it. Maybe we change it up where maybe a specific a timeline. I don't know. Maybe within the 2-3 years prior to it, 3 years would have been right at it. So 2 years maybe. I think this is a reasonable punishment for Joe Mixon. This was a terrible thing. Of course, this wasn't all on him. This Oklahoma student was also an idiot in what she said. But there were other ways to go about it. We already talked about Joe Mixon's case. You guys can watch that video when the video came out. You could listen to that. I'm okay with the rule. I'm okay with this being a punishment, saying, look, you didn't stay clean the whole time. Now, this is where the problem becomes with that argument. This is where I kind of, I didn't want to stay neutral on it. I wanted to take a stance. But also another thing is, it's not to say that all these players that are at the NFL Combine today and this weekend are saints, that they're all completely free of not doing anything. We just haven't heard about it. There could have been where they were at a party, had too much to drink, and a player hit a woman or got in a fight with other people, had another assault charge or whatever that we don't know about. It never came to light. Maybe it was let go, it was dropped, whatever it might be. So that also becomes an issue in that sense. But Joe Mixon being a snub and Chad Kelly, I mean, they had some issues going forward with it. And this is one of those things where it was like, well, it gives an opportunity to someone else who might have stayed clean and did the right thing. Let me know your take. That's what time it is. Today's show is sponsored by InnerGrind. Based out of Houston, Texas, let former Texas State linebacker Michael Rakpo help you reach your fitness and nutrition goals. With personal training classes that start at $40 a session, why not be a part of this rising program? Now, whether your goals are to lose weight, gain muscle mass, find the right off-season program, or even for you ladies out there to get that booty blast, you can do it all with InnerGrind. Not in the Houston area, not a problem. InnerGrind has a program that is personalized just for you. InnerGrind has everything you need to meet your personal and healthy goals. NFL linebackers like Titans Brian Orakpo, Chiefs Derek Johnson, Buccaneers running back Charles Sims, and San Diego Chargers cornerback Craig Mager, along with many other young athletes, have already begun. Find your personalized workout and nutrition plan at InnerGrind.com and call 832-475-2829. That's InnerGrind.com, 832-475-2829. Unleash your inner grind. Moving on to the NFL, we have free agent quarterback Colin Kaepernick. He says he will stand during the national anthem next season in 2017. Kaepernick no longer wants his method of protest to detract from the positive change he believes he has created. Now, there are other steps Kaepernick took that did not receive the same amount of media attention as his, well, it'd be weird to say his stance since he kneeled, but the Colin Kaepernick Foundation pledged to give $1 million to the community organizations helping underprivileged people. The San Francisco 49ers matched with another $1 million in donations. He's followed through with the monthly donations of $100,000 spread out over 10 months to organizations all over the country. And so that's good, but it's also one of those things where his agent said, look, right now you're not so hot. You're not so hot. And if you want to sign with the team for a decent amount of money, a decent contract, you're going to have to change some things up, especially with this, since it was such a hot topic. And they don't want fans turning on them for signing Kaepernick. This now helps it a little bit. I think Colin Kaepernick, this was a little bit genuine to him as well. I think he was, kind of saying he might do this anyways. I'm not saying that this was completely not his idea, but I wouldn't be shocked that this was mostly the agent and PR staff saying, you've got to change it a little bit because you're not going to get it signed by anybody with this. They can't have a big PR problem with signing you if you continue to kneel. It's going to hurt us. So, best of luck for Colin Kaepernick, but at least he is still doing other things, and hopefully I did my part. I know we don't have the biggest audience, but I did my part in stating out the fact that he was also doing other things. He wasn't just the whole kneeling situation that people took out of proportion. He was also doing other things. So, hey, I was on the side. I was helping him out. Seattle Seahawks safety Earl Thomas is expected to be ready for the start of the 2017 season, head coach Pete Carroll said Thursday. Now, of course, Thomas suffered a season-ending fractured tibia in his left leg in Week 13 and contemplated retirement before ultimately deciding he'd like to return to the NFL. And one of those things that I wish I kind of would have focused more on, and it comes off a quote from Pete Carroll saying, because when we're talking about would he retire and things like that, with the injuries some of the players are receiving and stuff like that, we didn't really focus that was really the first time Thomas had ever been hurt. He had never really missed. He played 118 straight games before suffering a hamstring injury and then that leg injury last year. So and in college, he stayed healthy as well. So it was just a big shock. It was one of those emotional things. We did bring up the emotional state that he was in, of course, at that time, and what someone's mind would be, the thoughts that would be running through their mind at that time. But now, kind of looking at it, it's like, okay, yeah, of course he's going to come back now. But without Thomas on the field, the Seahawks allowed 12 passing touchdowns and managed just one interception on the defensive side. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, Carroll said wide receiver Tyler Lockett has, quote, a really good chance, end quote, to also be ready for the start of the season. Lockett, of course, suffered a fractured tibia as well and fibula in his right leg in Week 16 and had surgery. He also had 41 catches, 597 yards as just a rookie his first year. I like Tyler Lockett a lot, and I knew he was going to be good. I'm just saying, we talked about it. Go back in the show when he was at Kansas State burning up TCU's defense. He was so fun to watch, and still is, and hopefully he's able to return fully 100% and tearing up the league. Now, of course, we've talked about the Pacific Pro League that's going to help out next-level high school students going into college but wanting to change a different route and actually get paid for it, and other former college players that are trying to keep their football careers alive. There's also another league. Now, it's the NFL Spring League. It's just called the Spring League. It's not partnered with the NFL, but they're going to have some interesting names, and it's for kind of their own developmental league. Now, the NFL used to have their own developmental league, and that was NFL Europe, which folded back in 2007. But now with the Spring League that's going to be in West Virginia, you've got guys like Greg Hardy, Brandon Browner, Kellen Winslow Jr. Those are among some of the initial commitments to an independent developmental league scheduled to debut, guess what, next month. So we're going to have some football, and it's going to be exciting. The Spring League, that's the name. I'm not hey, well, when you just got to think of something, you got to think of something. They have plans for four teams to play a total of 6 games between April 15th and April 26th, all at the Green Beer Resort in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Rosters will be filled by players not currently with an NFL team. The league is not affiliated, again, with the NFL, but NFL officials informed teams last December of the Spring League's initial plans, detailing a structure for scouting and signing players later in the offseason. So these players could potentially play those 6 games in April, and then boom, we're going off to camp. And of course, these are what the players are playing for. It's not like, oh, it's going to be too tough, I don't want to do it. No, this is what they want. And it's going to be exciting to see more names coming out. Of course, Greg Hardy is a controversial name, and I completely wish I never said I supported him signing with the Cowboys. My fault. But Brandon Browner, if he can do what he can do, Kellen Winslow, I mean, It's going to be exciting. I like that there's a spring league, and we're going to have more of these. We're going to have this spring league, Pacific Pro League, next year in 2018. A lot of positive things happening, not just to keep football going and make money, but to give more people opportunities to keep their dreams alive. And I really like this. I'm excited for this. Spring League CEO Brian Woods is attending the NFL Scouting Combine this weekend to meet with team executives and agents to go over how the process is going to happen, to provide details of the operations. I'm really excited for this. Some other players, didn't know I had some right here. You got David Nelson, wide receiver, running back Ben Tate, Jalen Saunders from Oklahoma. He was really good. Quarterback Ricky Stanzi. Players will receive room and board at the Green Brier. Am I saying that right? Green Brier? I feel like it's just a weird name. But they won't be paid game salaries. That's going to be the interesting part. So they'll have free food, free living, but they've got to kind of live off of what they've already made. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I like this league. Are you going to watch some of the games when they're happening? I'm sure some TV networks are going to pick it up. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you excited for specific players? One name I wanted to throw out there, but it's kind of been changing because of some sources. Johnny Manziel. Now, obviously, that's a big popular name. Everybody knows Johnny Football and what he's doing. Comeback season. Hopefully that's in the works. I'm a Johnny Football fan. I'm sorry. Not an A&M fan. Just Johnny Football fan. I don't know why. Don't know why. But anyways, could he be in this if, say, a team doesn't sign him? Now, his agent, he re-signed with his first agent that he had after making some significant commitments and changes. So he could, and apparently there's been teams that are interested in Johnny Manziel. They're going to talk to his agent here at the Combine. That's going to be interesting to follow this weekend. I don't expect him to get signed by the end of the week and by the end of the NFL Combine. But if he doesn't get signed and this gets closer and closer, I mean, it's next month, maybe he says, you know what? I can go out there. I'm just going to play, show teams that, hey, I've bulked up a little bit. I've been training. I'm taking this seriously, and then get right into camp. If Johnny Football is smart, if his agent's smart, if he doesn't find a deal by then, that's the best thing to do. It's the best thing to do is to go into the spring league. And look, you've got other guys that are, have significant playing time. It's not your average Joe AFL arena football or semi-pro league. This is legit. So I like this. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree with this and if you're going to be watching those games and what names interest you the most. Now, also on the other side of this is new Los Angeles Rams uniforms. They showed their new uniforms. They're finalizing what they called an evolving their uniform in 2017. Now, they're changing some things up. They can't change everything because of NFL rules, so their jerseys will stay the same color. Now, they are allowed to wear those famous blue and yellow jerseys. They're throwback jerseys. They can wear those a few times throughout the season, but they've changed, as you can see right here, or here, I believe. Sorry, I don't know. Whichever way, you guys can see they're going back to the throwback of the Fearsome Foursome. Now, when they had the blue helmet with the white Ram logo, the horn. It's going to be white with the face mask being voted white. Now, fans were allowed, both Rams fans and NFL fans overall, were allowed to vote on Twitter and Facebook of both whether they wanted the pants to be 1 or 2 striped, solid blue stripes on the pants. And I wasn't able to vote on that. I didn't see that. I was late on that. But it will have just 1 solid blue stripe on the pants. And then you were also able to vote on the helmet, whether you wanted a blue face mask or a white face mask. They showed pictures of both. I voted for the white, which was then fans also agreed with that, and they voted for the white helmet, the white face mask as well. I think it just looked better with the horns coming down and kind of just matching right at the face mask. The blue kind of just seemed a little bit. I don't know. But I did like this. The only thing I don't like, and again, this wasn't the Rams' fault, is that it does not match their jersey. Now, it looks like they're going to do the old Dallas Cowboys thing, or not the old Dallas Cowboys thing, but the Cowboys thing of wearing that white jersey as their primary jersey, their home jersey, and really staying away from wearing the blue and gold that they wore famously in St. Louis. It looks like they're ditching that completely and just sticking to that white. It doesn't match because you got blue and white, no gold anything on the helmet, nor the pants, nor the socks. And then you're going to have that gold accent on the jersey. I don't know. I'm a jersey freak. I'm a nerd when it comes to it. Uniform nerd, but it just doesn't match. It looks ugly. Now, they wore something similar to this against the Seattle Seahawks in that NFL jersey thing where the Seahawks wore those lime green, which came out pretty good. But I just don't like the combo. It just does. I like the helmet. I like the pants. I just don't like the jersey that comes with it. Now, in 2019, it's all changing. It's completely changing. Now, they might keep the same helmet. I don't know. I find it hard to believe the Rams not going back to the traditional blue and yellow. Not blue and gold, but the blue and yellow. Blue and yellow, everything. I find it very hard for them, now that they're back in Los Angeles, to not wear that as their primary uniform home and away. I like that. I would like to see that this be their alternate uniform that they wear every now and then, a couple times a year, with the white helmet, the white and blue stuff. It looks. I think that would be okay. But if they went strictly white and blue, I mean, I don't know. It's not the same. But so in 2019, completely rebranding, doing everything different. So that'll be interesting to see and what they do. Let me know. Do you like these uniforms? Do you want them to go to that blue and yellow? Would you rather them stay at blue and gold? They're not going to, but would you like them to stay at the blue and gold that they wore famously in St. Louis? Or would you like them to go to this new blue and white uniform? Me personally, blue and yellow, throwback, go back to it. That's what I would like to see. Let me know in the comment section down below. Also follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. Now, the New York Jets, they will release wide receiver Brandon Marshall after his request on Thursday. The Jets are in the midst of a youth movement, they call it. And Marshall, who turns 23 on March 23rd, well, he doesn't fit their rebuilding plan. Now, Marshall joined Darrelle Revis, Nick Mangold, Nick Folk, and a few other people as offseason salary cap casualties. They've cleared more than $45 million this offseason in cap space, including $7.5 million with Marshall's cut. Now, this will be interesting. He hasn't reached the postseason in his 11-year career. I found that shocking. I thought he was part of the Bears team when they went to the NFC Championship game against the Packers, but he was in Miami at that time. I'm just shocked that he's never reached the playoffs, and it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. 33 years old. He still performed. You know, it's hard to say that he didn't perform that well last season because nobody on the Jets did, and mainly Ryan Fitzpatrick in that quarterback situation. All offensive line was garbage, so you really didn't have a running game. Obviously, they couldn't protect. Fitzpatrick could just play terrible. So, I mean, with all that, it's hard to say Brandon Marshall's, did terrible or bad. Because you look at 2 seasons ago, in 2015, I mean, he looked like he was still in his prime. Over 1,000 yards receiving. He just absolutely crushed it in 2015. So it's going to be interesting. Now he's going to turn 33. Does that throw a lot of teams off? What is a contract that Brandon Marshall is going to be okay with? He wanted the release. He got it. Could he join his former teammate, Alshon Jeffery? He's also looking to sign with a contender. Jeffrey, who's 27 years old, is poised to test the free agent market after the Chicago Bears declined to apply the franchise tag. The Bears would have been on the hook for approximately $17.5 million guaranteed in 2017 had they exercised the tag for a second straight year. Now, Jeffrey was the NFL's second highest paid receiver last year at $14.5 million. But Jeffrey technically didn't take in all of it because he was suspended for the first 4 games of the year for using performance-enhancing drugs. Now, his range is going to be interesting. You have star receiver Antonio Brown, who just signed an extension with the Steelers that is going to give him an average $17 million a year per season. AJ Green makes about $15 million. Julio Jones is at $14.25 million. Dez Bryant's at $14 million. Demaryius Thomas is at $14 million. T.Y. Hilton at $13 million. So it's going to be interesting to see where Jeffrey signs. Again, it goes down to the team. One team I'm going to throw out there. I know everybody's talking about Adrian Peterson going to the Raiders. Look, it's not going to happen. I don't see Peterson going there. But Alshon Jeffery to the Raiders. Could you imagine that? I'm calling it here first. Alshon Jeffery will sign with the Oakland Raiders. They need another receiver out there. Crabtree did okay last season. Of course, Amari Cooper being their number one go-to, and that guy is he's going to be an all-pro, I guarantee you. You put Alshon Jeffery on the opposite side of Amari Cooper. Crabtree in the slot. You've got Jalen Richard, who, as an undrafted free agent, did pretty well his rookie year. Also in the slot. You can mix another guy in there. I mean, those are big-body receivers other than your slot guys. And Crabtree, he's what, 6'2", 6'3"? Or maybe 6'1", actually. You've got a real threat for Derek Carr. You give him more options. You already got a solid tight end combination. Then you could just draft O-line, or actually I think our O-line is okay. You go running back in the first round, or D-back, defensive back. If I'm the Raiders, I would much rather have Alshon Jeffery than Adrian Peterson. Based on injury history, and I know Jeffrey's been hurt as well, but who's going to impact the team more? I think Jeffrey will. I know, call me crazy. Call me crazy, but I think Alshon Jeffery would be the best signing for the Oakland Raiders. Raiders are a contender now. I know it's weird. It's weird to say, but they are a contender. So it'll be interesting to see where Jeffrey lands. That'll be it for today's show, guys. I know it was shorter. Hashtag the Short Sports Show, right? But we will be back next Friday. Hopefully these allergies go away because I'm trying to just breathe out here. And the fact that I was able to get through about 40 minutes of this show without having to stop is a blessing from God. Thank you, God, for that, because I was worried. But again, thank you guys so much for listening and watching the show on YouTube, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud. We're everywhere. Thank you guys so much for the support. I will see you guys next week. As always, God first, God bless. Enjoy the NFL Combine, and we'll talk about that next week. I'm out. Peace.